Hello, and welcome to Between Two Earbuds with Zack Miller. Hope you guys are doing awesome. I want to talk about a topic today, jealousy, something that I think a lot of people probably think about, and maybe use different words other than jealousy, but we allow it to, in fact, to be hazardous, to be a deterrent, a really negative Nancy, a negative Nick, or a Nate, or whatever, in our lives. And it's something that I've done myself. I try not to do anymore. I definitely know that I've done it myself. But we get jealous of others because they are where we want to be, right? And first of all, most of the time when we're jealous of someone, we don't even actually know where they are. We know where they are perceiving to be, but we don't actually know their insides and outs. Yet we, as a society, we as humans, we as people, we as jealous individuals, like to be like, I cannot believe that person, and we get mad at them, or we get jealous of them, or we actually start creating hatred towards these people. And I think it's something that, depending on who you surround yourself with, could be something that happens actually fairly quickly if you surround yourself with negative people. Right? If someone is super negative all the time, and you hang out with that person all the time, my guess, I'm going to generalize here, is that that person actually has a lot of jealousy and hatred in their lives. Which, if that rubs off on you, that can become a tremendous challenge for you. And it's something that I think more people need to be more proactive in recognizing that, oh, like, I'm getting mad at this person and I don't even know them. I don't even know what story they've gone through. I don't know what they've gone through to get to where they are. And so that's why judging a book by its cover is probably something that most people shouldn't do. Unless you're in a bookstore and you see a cover and you like it, like my cover for my book. Jokes. But I think all too often people are questioning people like, oh, that person didn't do anything to get that recognition or didn't do this. Well, they probably did this. They raised their hand first, which most people don't do, right? Most people just want to have an action happen without actually having to create that action, right? I've said this many times on previous episodes where people say, how do we see you all the time, right? I met a couple people today that just saw me that I met for the first time. They're like, but we see you everywhere. But I just met them for the first time today. Interesting, though. And so the thing is, put in the time, right? My good friend Nate Scholl from swimnerd.com. He actually owns swimpractice.com. I think he just bought paceclocks.com too. So those are pretty cool websites to own too, by the way. But different story. He tells me winners win, right? And so many people worry about others. So many people worry about why others are defeating them. So many people worry about their competition. We did a competition episode a few days ago, right? Focus on yourself. Put in the work. And I guarantee you, yes, this is the Zack Miller guarantee. Unlike the Chad Stenzel guarantee, which I thought it was going to work recently, but it didn't. No beef to him. He's probably not listening. But if he is, he knows what I'm talking about. But the Zack Miller guarantee is, if you put in the work, you realize that it's the long game, and you create meaningful relationships, and don't be a donkey, I promise you, the majority of the goals that are realistic that you've set, you will achieve. Now, if you're trying to do something that is physically impossible at this time, maybe you won't achieve that. So I want to put a caveat there. But so many people say, oh, I've been doing this thing for 3 weeks, 3 months. I'm just not getting the notoriety that I want. I'm just not getting the awareness that I want. I'm not getting the production that I want, the value, the sales, the whatever. Well, what have you put into it, right? What have you actually put in to get those results? Have you put in 3 days worth of work and you expect to get like $3 million in return? Most of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, stuff like that isn't going to happen. You have to put in the time. And so when people see me, and I use me not to be cocky or confident in anything. I use it because I've lived this life. I know what I've done, so I can be transparent with you and share that story. So when I tell people, look, this is a long, long, long game, that's telling you that if you quit, you will be quitting early because you just haven't been playing this game long enough. Yes, you have to get lucky sometimes. Yes, you have to put yourself out there. But it is a entirely crazy process that is all surrounded on not being negative, raising your hand, creating relationships, and realizing that this is the long game. I tell people this all the time about relationships. Actually, recently with real estate agents and people who sell commercial and residential and individuals like that, I go, did you know that most people quit their job after 2.5, 3 years? No, it's interesting. So when you meet someone for the first time, what do? Oftentimes, they're trying to sell their business. I was in several meetings today. Real estate agents, what do? Oh, we're looking for buyers and sellers. Cool. Literally, they're doing what everyone says. Oh, I want buyers and sellers. I get a chance to pitch at this event. And what do I say? I say, I'm Zach. You might know me from my days at Hatch. You might know me from a TV show. You might know me from a podcast. A lot of my time right now is spent working on getting my message out around my book. And I'm just here to make new friends. That's it. Different. I look different. What I said was different. I wasn't selling anything. Yet, so many people do the same thing as everyone else. And I think that's wrong. But then, when we do the exact same thing as others, and we don't get the results because they probably have that name recognition and we're young and we're not in this for 15 years, we get jealous of them because we're putting in the time. Look, things take time. And as someone who has absolutely been jealous of people in my past, I try not to be jealous of people now. I respect people and I respect their hustle and all that stuff. But I think we all have this form of jealousy at some point or another. But recognizing that and not allowing it to overtake your life is something that I think is incredibly important. Because if you dwell on someone else overtaking you, instead of actually trying to, do it yourself by creating those relationships and having people be like, oh, I know that person. That's Zack Miller. It's a conscious effort to be seen, to have people know about you, right? Think about the brands that you wear, the people that you remember, the Steve Jobs, the Steve Maddens, the Elon Musk, right? Big risk, lots of relationships, long-term goals, long-term lifestyle, long-term strategies. The Ninja Turtles, they're 30 years old, maybe longer. Vince McMahon, whoever created the NFL, like all of these things, lifelong brands. My publisher, Morgan James, I think they're 15 years old now, right? In the beginning, they told me, oh, the first few years, a couple people knew about us. Now, a lot of people know about them. It's all about longevity, folks. But if you deter yourself and you throw yourself into the pit of misery, if you throw yourself into the jealous world, what's going to happen is you are going to allow that to overtake you instead of you doing what you're on this earth to do, which is whatever you want to do. But we dwell on the moment so much, we get so infatuated with worrying about others that we have no control over, that aren't family members, that aren't friends or anything like that. And then we just lose, and then we quit, and we're like, why did this happen? Because we're putting ourselves in a scenario that's negative. We get jealous of others, so we take that time to be jealous instead of actually going over and, building those relationships. Right? So I took 2 pictures today, and when I was in these events, I want to meet everyone in the room. So I try to meet everyone in the room. Create relationships. Don't be jealous at others. Lifelong goals. Long-term strategy. If you do that, and you don't be a donkey, and you don't just push people to buy your stuff, good things will happen. Promise. Now, whatever you were worried about, whoever you were jealous about in the last few hours that you were thinking about, stop being jealous. Maybe even call them and create a relationship with them if you don't have one. And at the end of the day, take that negative time and turn it into productive time, and you're going to be like, whoa, bigger results are happening. Yes, they will. Peace.